Time to fight fear with faith. Jody Paar is a survivor who is no longer staying silent. She and her guest will fuel you up so you too can fight fear, uplifting and inspirational stories that will rock you to your core. We don't tiptoe around the truth, we steamroll it in a bold way. This is your life, and now is the time to start living it. Get ready for the Faith Over Fear podcast with Jody Paar. Now, welcome Jody Paar to inspire you.
Hey everybody, welcome to Faith Over Fear. I am Jody Paar. I'm so excited that you guys are here today. I have a great guest. Her name is Belkis. Her story is absolutely incredible. She is a speaker, a coach, and many other things. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Belkis. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm so excited for everyone to hear your story.
Thank you so much, Jody, for really allowing me space on your platform and inviting me into your space and to your wonderful audience. There are a million other things that people could be doing at any point, that they could be doing at any point, but they choose to be here. And so thank you for allowing me into your lives, into your space, to share with you a little bit, taking that chance and that opportunity to always grow and advance yourself is always something. So I do commend your audience for that.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. So tell me, Belkis, when is the first time you felt fear?
Oh boy. Oh wow, there have been so many in my life that I felt fear, but I think for me, one of the major times that I could really say that it almost paralyzed me was when I was living on this tiny island in the Caribbean, and I've lived on several Caribbean islands, but this one is like less than 3,000 people, so it's small. And I had moved there because that's where my ex-husband was from, and I really didn't want to move. Yeah. But when you were married, you decisions and stuff, and we had gotten to the place. He was abused, but grew up in church, and church taught you that you figure it out. You do not divorce, and at least the teachings that I had, right. You stuck with it, and truly it was quite a horrifying experience. Actually, I still wouldn't leave. Then I didn't understand why I wouldn't leave. But I remember that he said he wanted a divorce, and I literally fell apart. You want to talk about fear? I was in a strange place. I did not have any friends. I did not have any family. It was just him and his family, basically, that I knew. And now here it was that all the plans, all this effort and thing that you'd put in to this life that you'd constructed, plans that you had made together, they were just falling apart. And instead of two, now it's one. Bills you have to pay. When I only had a part-time job, it was a scary, scary situation for me. I did not know who to turn to. I did not really go. I didn't even have money to take a plane to go back home to my family. And the fear set in, the unknown, how to move forward, not knowing what to do. And I remember sitting down outside one night, beautiful Caribbean night, clear sky, stars, moon, very silent. The only thing I was hearing was the crickets and the ocean. And I sat there in the darkness, and I held a razor blade in one hand because I was ready to slit my wrist. I'd had enough. You're talking about coming out of childhood sexual abuse. You're talking about a whole set of other traumas related to that. And I felt like I couldn't do one more thing. I couldn't pick myself up one more time. I was scared of what would happen to me and failing again. I really felt like a failure. And I remember sitting there and saying, dear God, I've tried, and I can't try anymore. I'm so done. Yeah. And I think, when I let myself just be absorbed in that whole space, that's when the fear really gripped me. Yeah. That I just had nowhere else to turn, it seemed. And I remember that as I sat there, this thought flashed through my mind as a believer. It said, it was this thought that Jesus died for you
Mm.
and died for everyone. Why would you die for someone else? And I don't know, that just kind of me in my tracks. And I was like, he died for everyone. I don't need to die because of someone else. And I just kept saying it over and over. And can you imagine the space it took for me to walk from my yard to the house? Then my phone rang. And here was a gentleman from the church saying, we would like for you to go on a youth camp, and it's all expenses paid. I was like, wow. I said, what? Why? Yeah, because we think you have a great influence with the youth and it could be a good thing for you to learn. Little did he know, it was taking me out of this situation I was in and placing me into somewhere where I didn't know anybody. I did not know anybody. Went to talk about fear upon fear. So here I was already afraid about my future, thinking, oh my God, here's an escape, but I'm a camp. But I don't know anybody. I don't know if this is God or this is just some craziness looking to take me out for good now.
Right.
And I was scared to accept. And he kept pushing and he kept urging and he kept nudging me. He said, look, we're going to buy the ticket. You show up, you don't show up. This is the day. This is where you got to be. These are the things you got to bring. And it was at the last minute that I go, and I was still afraid to interfere. I was just moving. I did not. All I knew is give me 10 days of present situation with my now ex.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to move. They didn't just wait for me to show up, though. They came to get me. And his wife helped me pack. And that fear does that to you sometimes. It paralyzes you.
Yes, it does.
It makes you unable to think and to see possibilities and to recognize opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
So that is one moment, Jody, where I can honestly say I felt scared about my future. I felt scared that I wasn't capable of going on. I felt afraid that I was abandoned and alone. I felt afraid about my financial future.
Mm-hmm.
And then when an opportunity came, I was afraid to take it because I just did not know. It's like my brain just froze with everything that was going on. And so I didn't know how to take it. And that comes to be the thing that saved me. Sorry.
Yeah, that's so awesome. It's so beautiful because we are like soul sisters. And I love how when I hear different stories, it just sparks something inside me because I actually was in the exact same situation. I had a piece of glass to my wrist and was about to end my life also because of a man and because of this person. And, you know, God also revealed to me, I died for you. Why are you dying for this person? You know, why are you ending everything for a guy that won't even give you what you need in life, will not give you love that you need, will not give you and it's like when you're in that place of suicide, it is everything is against you, but you got to
Yeah.
remember that God is always for you. He's always right there. And I get so many chill bumps because there's so many times that I hear these stories and it's always like that still small voice was
Yeah.
like, I'm here. And that just touches my heart so much. So you go on this youth trip, you're absolutely terrified, I'm sure. Your world is spinning, I'm sure, because you've already went, feeling it's the end, and now here's a new beginning. So what happened next?
Yeah. So, I did the youth trip. Imagine I never pitched a tent, tried to pitch it. And the first night it rained and it came down on top of me. So there were a bunch of men running out into the rain trying to get my tent up, but it separated me from all the negative that was showing me like only barriers and impossibilities. And here I was among other church folks, other positive minded people, other motivated people doing things they love. And it started to show me the abilities. What if, could I possibly be like them? Could I have that? Could it be? And so I went back home, and by then my husband was on the full part of he wants to divorce and he's going ahead with it. And out of desperation, I decided to apply for tertiary education because I thought maybe if I had my degree, I could feel better about myself and people wouldn't think I'm such a failure after all. And I just started thinking a lot about how, dear God, I'm at the end of me. So where do you begin? And I realized when we get to the end of ourselves, God really is, then we can see how where God really shows up. This is where He began. And I applied, and remember I said I had no money, so I don't know how I was gonna get to school or how I was gonna, but I was so desperate to get out. But little did this was all so divinely orchestrated in a moment you don't know it. And that was a dream that I'd had years ago to go on and do to higher education, but I'd stopped, gotten involved, and this guy never seemed to really support even when I wanted to do it online. And I go like, look, I have this plan. I was a massage therapist. I said I could do massage therapy in addition to the journalism I was doing, so that I would use the massage therapy money to pay for online courses. And I remember I went with this whole plan laid out, budget, everything, how I was gonna do it. And he sat in front of the computer and I'm talking and he didn't look left nor right to ask me who I was talking to. And I felt so crushed and I abandoned the idea. But when divorce was before me, it's as if I fell back to the initial dreams that I had. But it's like I also wanted that dream to validate me, to make me feel like I was worth something. I could tell you that after 2 degrees that education isn't where self-worth is at. But during that period, you want to know how I spent? You want to talk about divine alignment? Yeah. I didn't have money for a ticket to pay a plane. When the acceptance came, I was shocked. I deferred by a semester because I really applied, but I didn't think I was going to. That's how much I thought of myself at the time. But I got in and I didn't have any money though. So I by a semester, praying to God for some miracle, trying to figure something out to at least have the money for the first semester, figuring if I get there, have a semester's worth, then I could probably look for a job and work my way through school. But there was a family friend, a gentleman, he was a businessman and a pilot. And he, in speaking, he said, you have so much in you, you deserve a chance, and I'd like to give you a chance. It's like, a chance at what? He said, to go get the education you want. I was like, what are you talking about? I said, what do you want?
Right, what do you want? That's right. What do you want? Okay, yeah, exactly. Yep.
Said, when you're done, you pay it forward. So I brought my mom in because I need to make sure I get somebody else who's hearing, so it's not my grief and all my trauma, this whole thing. That gentleman paid for 4 years of university for me to get first degree. He didn't just pay for my degree. Every insurance, every book, every additional anything, total cost covered.
Wow.
And never asked back for anything. Years later, I graduated summa cum laude and the top student. That door was thrown open. Girl went making joke. I bolt through that. I was like, I'm grabbing this opportunity with my hands, my legs, everything. I bolted through. I was so grateful to God. I couldn't believe this happened to other people. This did not happen to me. These were miracles you hear other people talk about. Yes. So I'm like, I'm actually living this. And I'm like, so God is concerned. He does care. And that set me on a path for discovering just how much God cares. I wanted to know him so I wanted to be so close that you did not know where his breath ended and mine. I wanted to be so I wanted to know what made God happy. I wanted to know why he created me and how he wired me. So I was doing school and I was pursuing passion. I graduated the top student. I was given a full scholarship for a master's degree. So 2 degrees. God said, gift, this is for you because I love you and I've called you. And I still struggled. Don't get it twisted. I still had my doubts. I still had moments where I wasn't quite sure. But I kept pushing anyhow. And after I had my master's, I spent more than $100,000 because I realized I did not want to go to, I did not want to go to back 9 to 5 because there was something else tugging at me. And so I spent more than $100,000 when it came to understanding how God wired me, getting coaching, um, understanding purpose, understanding how to heal. When it's like I just had all this information, and then I was like, okay, God, so now, and then he said, now help others. And as it's like when that thought came, I look around, there were so many other women struggling with this thing. So that is how I went from a place of fear, struggling through the fear, and up until the day I walked across stage, there were still moments of fear, and there were still moments of doubt and disbelief that this thing, my life, could have turned around so much in 4 years. I was ready to end it all, and I was afraid to make a move. Only desperation that made an application. It was not bravery. It wasn't a plan. It wasn't a strength. It was I needed to escape.
Mm-hmm. I love the fact of, we realize it's not in our control. And when we realize that, and when we literally just surrender all, miracles happen. Just like this pilot, like you never in a million years would think somebody would pay for everything for you, but that's how God works. And it's like, that's why I love it. It's like not our ways, it's his ways. And we don't know what his ways are. They're going to be way above what we could ever even think or imagine.
Yeah, when scripture said that, I didn't know what it literally meant, but that was it. It was transformative, and it wasn't even someone that I would have thought would be a person that would my life. People who we think if it's likely to be this person or that person. It wasn't even like that. When I tell you, it was the most random person that I could have. Never in a million years one thought anyone would do that for me. And because I remember years before when I just finished high school and I was forward to, I was excited. All my teachers said I'm a good, brilliant, it shouldn't be a problem getting it. Every door was closed, and mom and I praying. I had 17, 18 years old. We're praying, and she said, the scripture that keeps coming in this moment for you is, many are the plans of a man's heart, but it is God's will that will prevail. That's what came years ago. And so when the opportunity came now, like 11 years later, with this pilot guy, she said when she prayed about it, all she could hear is, now is the time, go. And I remember I didn't tell her about this at the time, but I remember when I was praying, similar feeling, all I could hear resonate, like this voice somewhere inside of me resonating, saying, go into the desert places. Go. I kept hearing this go. And I was like, go here. I was too scared to do anything. I thought, oh, that's not God talking to you. You're just thinking all kind of things. I don't know if you've ever been thinking, no, that's just my mind.
Oh yeah.
So it was really the most, it is one, because I've had many, many times where it seems as if in the darkness, it's like just when you're about to let go, there's God stretching and grabbing you. Yeah. And it's just been amazing, like some amazing experiences.
Tell me what all God has you doing today, like in your life. I mean, tell me like what your life looks like now.
Well, I went from an abusive marriage to now being to a very wonderful man who is so supportive of my dreams and my career and everything. So where I thought that, you know what, I'll never find someone who really love me. And despite my past, because I did not hide what I'd been him, not see it as a reflection on me. He saw that, and he said he admired how I could, come through so much. He looked at my relationship with God and started to pattern certain self where, it was different. So he started to grow spiritually, and he now, don't get me wrong, do that easy. Mm-mm. Oh boy, we have our challenges, but is the ideal mate for me. He really is, and I feel like he's a gift to me.
Absolutely.
So there's that transformation that occurred. That's one thing. Full daughter, and so God did that, and out of that, though, God, when He said teach others, that's just what I've done for more than a decade. First, there were youth groups that I did. I started out with youth groups for young women, and there were some guys that came as well. And it's amazing how those groups catch to the place where, in neighborhoods where there are street corners just doing nothing. They would come off of the street corners when we had events and get involved. And I had youths who were suicidal and depressed, and I was there. I told them, look, if you ever feel like committing suicide, just call me first. Just ring my phone, just call me. And there were times when after I'd worked 14 to 16 hours dead on my feet, the phone rang at some morning, some youth in tears. And so you got to get up and go again. And I dedicated my life to them because they were worth it. So now when I see them graduating with master's degree and getting their lives together, I am happy that God used me as that person to stand in that gap for them. There are so many. And so there were the youth groups, and then that eventually evolved into I wanted to do more for women. I looked around and I saw so many women who were going through life feeling as if they're living under the shame and the fear and the guilt. And it's like this burden and this cloak that they carry. And because of it, they kept making decisions and choices that kept giving them the results that made them even more unhappy, more hurt and broken on the inside, and they seem to be struggling. And I saw too many women settling into places that did not serve them, into relationships and careers, and even into ways of being that weren't serving them. They weren't happy, and they had no idea how to change. They had no idea how to break free. And a lot of them wanted breakthroughs, but they did not want to break. I'm like, but God taught me how we can break free from attitudes and environments and relationships so that we can walk in a new space. And I heard the goal. And so I took a chance, and I was afraid. I really was afraid. You don't take all your money and invest it into something that you're not quite sure where it's going. I didn't study. I studied human communication and English, but all these are the courses that I've done into of how to heal, how to rise, purpose, and how to do a life that is connected to who you are. So I took a chance and I invested in business coach, of coaching to get a business to women structured, because though I had the experience and the education, what I needed was someone to help me get it together. So now today I help women across the globe. Help them move. Yeah, I have them move past the shame, overcome their traumas, their heartbreaks, disappointments, and setbacks, how to bounce back, how to love themselves, build that self-confidence, really live a meaningful life, and how to spiritually so they could live in their victory.
So good. So good. And to think, if you would have ended your life that day, how many lives after you would have ended also? Because you wouldn't have been here.
Yeah, that's true. And I don't really think, I never really thought about it, but now I'm saying it, that is so true. So many lives who were given for you to touch, so many people for you to help, now would have been struggling longer periods of time while they try to find help somewhere else, if they ever find it.
Yeah.
I'm glad that God disrupted that plan.
Yes. Amen, girl. Amen. And anybody listening that you just might be at that point that everything seems like it's falling apart. Nothing seems to be going right. Everything seems, dark. Just know that he has a plan for you too. And your life is just as important as ours is. And you just don't know what that is. So that's where you got to have faith and trust and just take it one day at a time.
That amen to that. That's true. And the faith is a big, big part of it. You got to know God won't let you fall.
No.
And that if you think it's a wrong path and he knows it's a wrong path, he's going to redirect you. You just got to make a step. Staying paralyzed ain't going to help. You've got to make a step of faith. He won't let you fall.
Yes, girl. Yes, I love it. Well, Belkis, thank you so much for being here. For all of our listeners and those watching, tell them how they can reach out to you and how they can connect.
Oh, definitely. You can, you know what? Hit me up on Facebook or Instagram. Those are really easy ways. Send me a private message if if you don't want to put something up on the wall, but definitely reach out and connect. Facebook or Instagram, follow me, Belkis Clark, LLC, or just Belkis Clark. You're going to find me right there, and let me know where you heard me so that I can send you something nice just for you.
I love it. Thank you so much for being here. Guys, thanks so much for watching. My name is Jody Paar, and you can find me online at Jody, JodyPaar. I appreciate you, Belkis, and I hope you all have a super blessed day. Thanks so much. Bye.